David Best, you were in New York when this was coming down, these two towers called the World Trade Center. I was in New Jersey at Liberty State Park in New Jersey, where rescue workers who were digging out people from the rubble here were being ferried over to New Jersey side, where a morgue was set up, where rescue workers took their break. And that's where we met rescue workers, doctors and firemen and disaster relief persons, and we gave them a break. In fact, what we did over in New Jersey was we set up a prayer tent, and in the prayer tent was where we created a positive, prayerful, spiritual energy where people could actually come in out of the chaos and the havoc and the anxiety of what they were experiencing, even the trauma of what they were experiencing here. And they had at least a few minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes of rest, of relaxation to that extent, and to defuse and be debriefed and to express the outrage and the terror that they had witnessed here. Terror beyond belief, right? This is where it happened. What you see now is where the two towers stood, and now you see the new tower going up in the back. This is the new Ground Zero.
Here we are at St. Paul's Chapel, 10th anniversary, September 11th. And this chapel was a staging area for many of the first responders that day, 10 years ago. Pews in the chapel were marked with from their tool belts and their other supplies. And St. Paul's, which was started as a mission church by Trinity Church, became a real mission outreach center for all of their first responders that first day and into the weeks afterwards. Part of the first responders who would lay down here, lay their tool gear and their other equipment on the pews. They just got banged up in all the weeks that they used. This is basically a resting and a sleeping place. So, truly, this sanctuary was a sanctuary.
What's your theory on why this chapel in the shadow of the World Trade Center survived the crunch?
You know, it is interesting because this building is 18th century masonry. I mean, if any building should have gone just by even the sheer force, without even anything hitting it. And I don't know, from my personal tradition, I want to say it's a sign of resurrection, a sign of hope. There was a tree here that was damaged and may have saved the building from more destruction, and it kind of took the brunt of some of the debris, and so for me this chapel represented that God hadn't given up on New York, on this city.
And it certainly became not just a Christian chapel, but a God's house of prayer for all people.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know the numbers and the statistics, but obviously no one checked at the door, you know, if you were Episcopalian, Presbyterian, whatever, before you. Anybody was welcome to come in here, rest, get water, get food, sleep, and it continues that. And it's really been a force. St. Paul's and Trinity both have been a force for really not only interfaith but international kinds of reconciliation and efforts for people to understand each other better. 87, 94, and then since then I've been doing more activities. I'm David Best. Been in New York City for 24 years. Moved back here to pastor a church, Lamb's Church off of Times Square. And in 1994, your film work, I hope, will be a a means of opening people's eyes more. Because I'm not suggesting that we shouldn't celebrate those differences. When I said, so many people define themselves by what they're not. Well, I can't be something I'm not, but I don't have to make myself better by putting someone else down. And that's what I'm talking about, is if we could celebrate who we are and whatever our culture, whatever our religion is, but then have respect and recognize that person, I'm good enough in myself without having to push someone down to make
one
me
thing
feel
that
better.
I felt very strongly is that a mother is a mother in Iraq or in Egypt or in China or in America or in Brazil or whatever. A family is a family. So they all want the same thing. And I was saying earlier, God has created all these differences, and instead of enjoying these differences in the world, traveling as we do, when we travel, we are fighting each other. Yep. It's a terrible thing.
Yeah, well, we need a spirit of openness and courage and not fear. And again, from my tradition, and again, not just my tradition, but I mean, how many of the great religions of the world would come down and say love is the central? And I mean by that, love that is wanting the best for the other person. That kind of self-giving love. And at the core, if we could get a renewal of that in our lives, then maybe that beloved community that Dr. King used to talk about, Martin Luther King and others, maybe it's not just a complete.
Now you were in.
David, this looks like a replica. What happened to the true cross of Christ that used to stand here?
Well, this is actually a brand new sculpture by an artist that was commissioned to do this, to replace the cross of the cruciform of the steel beam that came out of the rubble in a form of the cruciform. And it was here, but it's now been moved as of July 23rd over to the 9/11 Memorial Museum, where it will be there on display. And this cross was put up as a replacement by this artist. He's designed it out of steel. There are pieces, I believe, of steel from 9/11 building towers in here. And he's polished it to a high gloss so that the idea artistically that a person can see their reflection in it, and then see also the new tower going up behind, the new resurrection, the new life area. And there's also a book of remembrance, and as I understand it, they deposited, the cross is hollow, but they put into it notes and other pieces of memorabilia from first responders and other people who lost their lives.
So these are the names of victims?
These are people who died on 9/11.
These are names of people who died during 9/11. Here at the foot of the 9/11 cross.
This is right outside the Church of St. Peter, which is the oldest Roman Catholic parish church in New York, just down the corner from one of the oldest Anglican Episcopal churches in New York. Both churches had a role in response to 9/11.
So, David, standing here at the foot of the 9/11 cross, this is right outside the church, St. Peter's, where Chaplain Michael Judge, being a Franciscan priest, when they found his body, they brought it here. Laid it near the altar in the church.
Father Judge was the official first victim or declared deceased. 0001 ID.
Yeah. Officially designated as the first victim of 9/11, though not physically in reality the first person to die, the first identified victim.
And he was
0001.
He was killed with some debris hitting him on the head as he was ministering to the firemen and the other people that he'd heard as he rushed down from his parish area in the West 30s.
Yeah. And he was part of St. Francis Church.
Yeah, he was a Franciscan, And for you and me, Michael, a connection there with our own home state of California, and Father Sheriff, Franciscan, so important in California's history. And Michael Judge was in that same brotherhood.
Well, there's a memorial service going on now for Father Judge. Let's go see Father Judge's service on the 10th anniversary of 9/11.
Amen.
Here's the firehouse where Michael Judge was chaplain to the firefighters. One of many firehouses. This is across the street from St. Francis of Assisi Chapel, where all are welcome. Where we're going to go to the Michael Judge service today. But I'm with my friend David Best. Reverend David Best is on his way over to say thank you to the firefighters.
Thanks,
Hey David, here we are.
Yep.
Church of St. Francis of Assisi, Franciscan friars. All are welcome, even Protestants like us.
Well, renegade Protestants like us.
Chaplain Michael Judge would welcome us with open arms. That's the kind of guy he was. St. Mike, I want to say.
We might have to sing a song together. I hear you like to sing.
I hear he was a hoot.
I think I read he used to sing Frankie and Johnny.
Yeah.
He'd break into that.
And Danny Boy.
Oh yeah. Of course.
And Irish Eyes Are Shining, he would sing when people were depressed. Remember that? A lot of stories about this guy. Now, what service are we going to today?
We're going to the 6:15 Sunday Mass at 6:15 p.m.
It's already on paper, but I didn't have time.
Oh.